Hello and welcome to Top 20. We have made it to 20. I can't believe that, Dec. How are you?
Yeah, all good, all good.
Very good. Since the last time I seen you.
That's the last time I seen you 5 minutes ago.
Viewers who are seeing us on video will know that we're actually wearing the same clothes.
You have different clothes.
We still have the shirt in the background as well. This is because we were recording back-to-back two podcasts. So this is going to be our Lawlors of Nace preview, which we are working without declarations, but we'll still be fine. We'll still find you the runners and winners. Obviously, this featuring the Lawlors of Nace Novice Hurdle, Grade 1 event over 2.5 miles, which is the main event. And Nace, as fantastic a racecourse as they are, were very kind to give us 2 sets of tickets to give away. So we did run a competition on Twitter or X for said tickets, and there was a great response to that competition. So thank you very much to everyone for entering, and of course to Nace for donating the tickets as well. I can say that our 2 lucky winners of the 2 sets of tickets to the Lawlors of Nace Novice Hurdle Day on Sunday, the 7th of January, are Gillian Rowley at Sir Gillers and Finton Donnelly at Donnelly_Finton. So congratulations, lads. You're off to Nace on Sunday, and you just need to give Declan your email details. We'll contact you as well, just maybe via direct message. So congratulations to the lads. And Dec, you had a little bonus.
Yeah, I had bought a ticket last year when Nace put them on sale. It was only a tenner. Like, how could you not? But Sandy actually delivered Nace membership for the year at Christmas. So we do have one more ticket to give away. Unfortunately, it's just a single, but I go racing by myself all the time. It's brilliant. And the winner is Cormac's Fridge. And
Cormac's Fridge at Horse Nail 1. So Cormac's Fridge with the single ticket. Congratulations to you, Cormac. We'll also be in contact for your single ticket, and hopefully you can go and enjoy a day at the races on your Sweeney. But it doesn't matter. You usually back more winners that way as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's raining you. But look, it's a race course you should get to. It's my favourite race course. They do a great job. They make everyone feel so welcome. It's a beautiful race course. They do really good things to get people through the gates, and it's not unique, but it's one of the few race courses where you see good horses winning there under both codes. It's a proper track, away from the hospitality. It's a proper racetrack, and trainers run good horses there. So hopefully they get a really good turnout on Sunday, because they deserve it. It's one of my favorite days racing, this one actually. The first 4-year-old bumper of the year, and obviously a Grade 1 Novice Hurdle. So look, get there if you can.
Absolutely. I completely echo everything you said there, Dec. Wonderful track, and we're so lucky where we live, and just at that edge of Dublin, the amount of tracks that are in our that are kind of within our compass. But it's brilliant to have tracks like Nace, like Leopardstown, Curra, Navan, Fairyhouse, Punchestown, even Dundalk, Laytown once a year, not even that far away from us.
Gowran's only an hour down the road as well.
Yeah, Gowran, of course. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. It's but Nace is up there with the very, very best of them. So thank you very much again to Nace, and we're gonna have the pleasure to cover their main event of the year here, starting off at 12:30. Hopefully the low-lying sun, which kind of did impact this meeting last year, but hopefully it doesn't rear its ugly head this year. The Irish Stallion Farms EBF Mares Beginners Chase is going to start us off. There's 7 runners entered at this stage, but we do know that the top one, Armorna Bridge, covered on Top 19, tipped by myself on Top 19. She is almost certainly not going to be declared here, so it's going to leave us with minimum of 6 Dec. Brandy Love, who we were talking about, is probably going to be our favourite, second behind Harmonia Maker at Gowran on her chasing debut. Stablemate Night and Day in there, and a mare that I kind of like to go well on her first start over fences at Fairyhouse. It didn't really materialise though. Top Hill Low also in here too. Do you think this is straightforward, Dec, then for Brandy Love?
Well, Brandy Love's not straightforward herself, so
no.
But it should be, shouldn't it? Like, she's she's going left-handed as well. It should suit her. I know she was well held by Harmonia Maker on Chase debut at Gowran, but she's just much better this way, and she should be better than this. I don't think there's. I'd be very disappointed now if she's beaten. I don't know what you do with her if she's beaten in this.
You'd probably go.
No disrespect to them. Like, there is nice horses in here, like Night and Day, Top Hill, Love, but she should be winning this.
Yeah, Night and Day on her chasing debut, she was beaten by the guts of a fence by Halka de Tarbert, who we haven't seen. Kind of interesting. We're probably going to see her thirless, I imagine, in that graded Mares Novice that I think Allegory de Vassi won last year. But very interesting to see her when she does pop out. Yeah, but no, I think I would agree now. I think Brandy Love's going to take all the beating here. She'd probably be odds on to win this. The race was won last year, I believe, by Tell Me Something Girl, her and On Steer instead. If they're people without the accent, they took turns taking fences home with each other in this race last year. It was quite a sight to see. But hopefully we see a better jumping display here from Brandy Love. And yeah, she probably has all the rage to win this Mares Beginners and win it quite well. Moving on then, Dec. This is a novice chase at 1 o'clock. This is usually a competitive race. Bet Victor Irish EBF novices chase. Decent horses, usually trained by Willie Mullins, rock up here. I know Appreciate It won this back in the day. I think Blue Lord might have won this race too. So he does tend to run decent enough horses. The one entry here from Willie Mullins is the very well touted and quite bigly hyped Mr. Policeman, who did get the job done on his chasing debut, but people are kind of asking more questions than anything really after it. Quilixios obviously in here, kind of back on a fact-finding mission after a poor display last time out. Safleur took advantage of a fall from Hunter's Yarn as well to win last time out. Dec, who do you fancy here?
It's a tricky enough one. Like Mr. Policeman, 6-year-old, he was hyped up. Everyone was backing him for the Arkle on the back of winning a conditions
hurdle, big
catchback. Yeah, look, he was far from impressive on his chase debut. But look, you'd forgive him. You'd hope to see a better performance in this. Quilixios is interesting. He drops right back to 2 miles, having disappointed at Punchestown in the race that was won by Favardi di Champdou. He did look good on his chase debut after a lot of time off. Who was it? He beat not Lankin. Jigginstown horse.
He beat Kill Survivor, Dec, yeah.
Kill Survivor. Picked himself up after a bad mistake at the last and battled back to win. Showed a lot of good qualities that day. I would put a line through the race the last day. I would forgive him. But look, I know Safleur was going to be beaten the last day, but he does look progressive. He fell behind Facile Vega, and then look, he bolted up. He didn't bolt up, but he did won by 40 lengths or something, didn't he?
Technically, yeah. He was left in front and still won by 40 lengths.
He was 137 rated hurdler. Look, I think was never sold on Mr. Policeman. Although I put a line through the last one for Quilixios, I still have my doubts. I'd say Safleur could improve and could cause him a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, all right, that's a fair enough take. I didn't think Mr. Policeman shaped like a 2-miler, if anything, really, on his chasing debut. He still got the job done, and in fairness to the horse, it's not his fault all the hype was put before him.
No.
But, he won in a similar fashion, like a horse that I have a lot of time for, obviously, Spillans Tower. He won in quite similar fashion, beating firm footings, and Spillans Tower is a horse that I rave about. But Spillans Tower wasn't 7-1 for the Arkle, or 8-1 for the Arkle. So when you take expectations are always relative, and where this horse's expectations were nowhere near kind of what you wanted to see on his chasing debut. and he's likely going to be a shade of odds on here again, given his profile. And I'd be finding it hard to justify backing him. What you'd be hanging your hat on is A, all the talk, and B, the fact that Willie Mullins does usually run one of his better 2-milers in this race. But it still wouldn't be enough for me to swing that way. I like seeing Quilixios coming back here to 2 miles. He never looked at home last time out. I don't really know what it was. He was hammered by Favori de Chandu, and it was over 3 miles, soft ground. It was a messy enough race.
We finished the race.
He did. He just beaten the 70 lengths in the end, but yeah, he did finish the race. And he was last of the finishers. I think it was Churchstone Warrior unseated early. He was 6 of the 7 runners. So he did beat Cool Survivor on his debut, and a certain captain's nephew was behind that day as well, I think in third.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, so it was nice to see. So it was form that we've already used in the past. And if Quilixios maybe didn't run in the Florida Pearl, I think it was the Florida Pearl, wasn't it? Almost certain it was.
It was the Florida Pearl or the Craddocks. There was one of those on that weekend. And I actually, I know what you're going to say. I actually put him up that day. So
yeah, if he didn't run there, he's probably a shorter price here. He is a Triumph Hurdle winner. I think they can make use of him. Go to the front with him. Know he'll stay. Just ignore the last run. I don't think he has much to find here. So it'll be Quilixios for me. I think he'll run a nice race and go close. And it's soft floor for you, Dec, is it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Awesome. All right, moving on then to the 130. And this is the race and stay handicap chase. I can only imagine this is a reference to the Lawlors of Nace Hotel in the village area. This is a race I'm very much looking forward to, though. Dec, I'll let you take it away because I know we're both very keen on a horse here, and hopefully he is declared at the time of recording, or else we're going to look like gobshites.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there's lots of advances, so I'll try to get one runner, but hopefully this one, like good time, Johnny. He's had 3 chase runs in between many hurdle runs, which is probably not a good sign. He's in there off 135. He won the Pertemps off 142, and that was a British mark, so probably off 135. So it's just a question of whether he is a better chaser. Often they are, but it would be concerned that he has lots of hurdle runs in between all these chase runs. Granted, the tie, the Barry Connell horse, season up 127, that was probably rated on the third to the big chap. He was a hurdle winner of 107, but he won by 17 lengths. But his best runs have probably come over further, so dropping back to 2 miles. Maybe he's just going to sharpen his jumping up here. Snake Oil Andy, who you were very keen on the last day, he was staying on tour at Leopardstown off 122. He's up a pound here. I'd imagine you want to see him up and trip.
I want to see him up and trip, 100%. Yeah, he was outpaced at the pivotal part there at Leopardstown.
Yeah. And then Invictus Mashing, he's so hard to, like, I'm talking about him since an early time. It's so hard to work out, isn't he? I just don't know what to think. It was fate. He was a maiden hurdle winner, but he did go close. He did win in the handicaps. He did go close off a pound or two higher than this, 110 over hurdles a few times. So, like, definitely one with a chance. But I just think if this horse turns up Verdun Place, like a really progressive hurdler, one off 102, then off 108, and then second in the Grade B handicap at Fairley House off 118. He's an absolute massive chance. In here off 114, the 3 chase runs and handicaps were out the back. Like, they're not always that obvious in handicap chase or in beginner chases, but like for a horse as progressive as he was over hurdles, and like he's gone from, I think he finished ahead of Keondana one day at Punchestown to running in that, just being touched off in that Grade B Fairley House handicap at the Easter Festival.
Bumped into a horse that was chucked in that day as well in Western Walk. That's Churchstone Warrior's brother for Jonathan Sweeney. Horse that I actually had on our horses to follow at the very, very start of TAP. Hasn't been seen this season, so he must have picked up an injury, unfortunately.
Well, look, I think you could see if he's off, there'll be a massive gamble on this fella. I don't know what he'll open up at, but get on as early as you can, because I think they will punt the ears off him. If he looks absolutely thrown in. If he turns up and he's off, it's all over.
Yeah, no, forget about it.
You can make a case for a lot of them, but this is proper nap at the tap stuff.
Yeah, I say that it almost looks like the handicapper fancies this one himself. Really, I'd say they couldn't believe it.
Come from?
Mark of 114. I've said it on a couple of tap podcasts. If you get a chase mark below your hurdles mark and you're showing progressive form over hurdles, and the jumping isn't bad, in which this horse's case it isn't, the only thing you'd have to worry about is he might be jumping at a slightly faster pace. This reminds me very much last year. Arthur Moore had a horse over hurdles last year called Hands of Gold, who he rocked into like an auction hurdle or something. It could have been a handicap. I can't quite remember the type of race.
He went down
he opened up, I think 9-2. People are like, oh, he looks nice. Yeah, I think he won at 10-11 one day on handstand.
That was at Nace, wasn't it?
It was at Nace, yeah. And I think this is going to be something very similar. I think this could be a horse that opens
like up. Like Cotta-Harla. Do you remember Cotta-Harla?
Cotta-Harla, yeah.
On, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Him and Hands of Gold. Yeah, so this looks like a horse that's just extremely well handicapped. If you actually go back and watch his run behind Facile Vega and Navan, I was there that day. Simon Torrance worked a minor miracle staying on board. He had a horse jump into him very, very early. It was either the first or second fence. There was an array of multicolored McManus hats hampered at that first or second fence. There was the blue hat, there was the green and purple, or the green and orange hat. They're all bumping into each other out the back, with the exception of one or two of them in the pocket in Spillane's Tower, I think. The rest of them were all hampered out the back. Jumped the shark himself, Hands of Gold. So Hands of Gold actually in that race as well. So yeah, no, as I said there, this lad off 114. He's ran into 3 correct chases as well. Behind Flank and Maneuver, which was a decent race. Behind Imagine, which is producing winners. I know the way you're thinking in there. Sandor Clegane obviously got a bit wrong. I think he's gone slightly wrong. He's going to miss a little bit of time. Pat Daru, who showed improved form at the Dublin Racing Festival, or not Dublin Racing Festival, Christmas race at Leopardstown. He was pitching there. He may well have won that race that we were talking about with Snake Oil. He fell at the last deck, if you do recall. This race just looks tailor-made for him. 114 is so workable. He's only turned 6. This thing's gonna win if it's declared, I think so. It would be a Verdant place for me, and let's hope that we just haven't wasted 15 minutes of the listeners' time obviously talking about declarations. Jesus Christ. I think we'd be absolutely fine though. Like even if you look, there's a line through Genoa where they finish very, very close. I can't quite find the line right now, but there's 14 pounds between them if these two show up on levels. It's absolutely absurd how well handicapped this horse could end up being. It was the chase debut. He actually finished ahead of Genoa. He finished half a length ahead of Genoa. He was behind Flank and Maneuver 16.5 lengths. Genoa was 17 lengths behind him. Now both horses obviously ran slightly below form, but even still, there's 14 pounds between them in the favour of Verdant Place if they potentially line up against each other again on Sunday.
I'm actually excited talking about it.
So we'll see what happens. I'm sure if we're seeing it, I'm like, this is one that, like, you know, anybody should be able to see. But anyway, Verdant Place.
Gamble responsibly.
Yeah, gamble responsibly. That's it. Yeah, exactly. I'll be. I might actually have to drag herself to Nace on Sunday to back this on track. But anyway, without further ado, Jack, we'll move on.
He tips up at the first.
We'll move on. So, as we're celebrating Verdant Place's win, we'll probably be still celebrating it as the tapes go up for the Lawlors of Nace.
I'll be back in town.
The Grade 1 over 2.5 miles. Won last year, obviously, by anyone that entered our competition answering Champ Kiley correctly. Plenty of nice winners of this race. Ginto, Bob Ollinger, plenty of nice horses. Envoy LN, I think Envoy LN won this, didn't he? Sam Crow. And then the pointless answer, McKinley, I think, won the first ever renewal when it went to a grade 1, and then rocked up in the Martin Pipe off 136, I think, like a month later, 2 months later. And how times have changed. We've got 10 runners, Dec, as of right now. Again, covering before declarations, where Firefox is your 7-4 favourite. As I said, red hot Maiden Hurdle form. A certain attaboy Charlie in behind him that day. Ballyburn obviously doing wonders for the form at Leopardstown as well on the 29th, was it? I think it was the 29th. Look, he's 7-4. It's hard to throw stones at him. Il Atlantique, who's been causing kind of riffles on Twitter. Some people saying he could go back to 2 miles, other people tipping him for Bartlett, some people tipping him for Ballymore. He is a type of horse that could go over any trip. He's a very, very nice horse, don't get me wrong. Needs all the respect in the world. Croke Park would probably enjoy a little bit further than this if he is declared. Chapeau de Soleil showed a lot more maturity on his hurdles debut, winning very, very easily. Quite difficult to know just how good he may or may not be. And then there's October, Dec, who we were talking about offline. Excellent third in the Royal Bond, and he was the only horse that was up with the pace that was able to actually get home that day. Everything else came from off the pace, including Farron Glory and King of Kingsfield. He managed to plug on for third, and also ran like a step up and trip would suit. He's 5-1. Probably him or Firefox would be the form horses, given how strong Firefox's Maiden Hurdle was. What's your opinion here?
October's is by far the strongest form to the race, like, you know, and when are people going to start giving Farron Glory a bit of respect? Like, I think
people are starting to kind of go back now. I saw a few tweets saying, "Oh, that Royal Bond wasn't the best." Now everybody had a crystal ball saying it was useless form, but all of a sudden, King of Kingsfield's bolted up in a Maiden Hurdle. Farron Glory is, 2 hurdles away from winning the Tolworth in a procession, and yeah, suddenly it's good form now. Anyway,
yeah, and nobody's really talking about October for this race either. It's just, I think because he was so hyped up for about 2 seasons, and then he was beaten. He went off favourite, I think, for the Royal Bond. But like Farron Glory, Farron Glory was going to win an entry by half the track,
15-20 lengths probably if he was going to be extended.
Yeah, like, so he's definitely bringing the strongest form to it. Like, it's grade 1 form. It was going to be backed up by the winner. It was backed up by the second, although it was in Maiden company. But people just seem to be more excited about the others. And look, I can see why Firefox is favourite, because, well, Ballybourne is obviously, he's obviously carried a lot of hype since last year, but he delivered as a bumper horse. And I'm not sure we've seen the real Ballybourne against Firefox. And he was probably more back to himself. And like, we've a theory for that as well. And he was like the 2 horses of Willie's that were flat around that time, a week apart, suddenly both of them bolted up at Leopardstown. So
both of them are brilliant. Yeah,
both of them are brilliant. There was I think there are 2 different animals. So I'm not sure we've seen the real Ballybourne against Firefox. In Atlantique, he was a 19-length winner on his hurdle debut. The third is one next time out. I think the second might have been beaten. Chapeau de Soleil. He won on bottomless ground at Clonmel, and the third has been beaten since. Croke Park is a grade 3 winner, but the form's not working out. Mystical Power is very interesting. The Galway form worked out well enough, but I just can't stop thinking about you.
Yeah, I hope I haven't put you off him completely now.
He couldn't recover. So
you haven't seen him since, though?
No, like, I wouldn't be prepared to chance him in a grade 1.
No,
if he couldn't handle that. So, look, it's on October for me. I just think he brings the strongest form to it, and at the moment, the value.
There is one horse I want to just bring a bit of attention to. Now, he's priced like he's not going to run, but in my opinion, he's definitely the top 3 or 4 Maiden Hurdle winners I've seen this year just on the eye. Jagoro, who's in here at 40-1. I don't think, like, there's no way a horse of his ability with 40-1, even in this race, stepping straight into grade 1 company. He was beaten by Flameborough, who we talked a little bit about on the last Tap podcast. Yeah, like you could argue that maybe that wasn't the best of runs, but what he did to Butcher Hollow, the way he just ran away from Butcher Hollow, who I know bumped into another very nice Willie Mullins mare on the 28th at Leopardstown. Some people say that Butcher Hollow failed to follow up at Leopardstown and kind of crabbed the form. I'd be of the opinion Butcher Hollow's just bumped into two very, very good horses. And I don't think Butcher Hollow lost much in defeat. Like how far he's beaten the third in that maiden hurdle, for example. Chigoro was picked up off the flat in France, and I think he actually was ahead of he was behind Jasco de Dam, who he reversed the form with in that race at Navan. They ran in the same race in France and then met each other in Ireland. The form was comprehensively reversed then over hurdles. This horse it could be very, very nice, and I'd be just interested to see where they go. This would be a big this would be a big move if Connections did pitch him into a Grade 1, but he's such a big price that I'd keep an eye on him for each way purposes if he was declared. The other horse, obviously in Connections, back to stud, Firefox. What he's done to Ballyburn and the strength of that maiden hurdle, even though he's 7-4, and I have said on Tubber what Tubber did in the Royal Bond is just not appreciated in terms that how he kept up that gallop and was the only one to sustain that gallop and finish off his race from the front. He was picked up by two closers, but for Firefox, obviously beating Ballyburn and the form that is transpiring behind him, I think a Fairyhouse is just really, really strong. It's not a race I'm probably going to have a bet in, but I think Firefox is the most likely winner. But if Chigoro does run and I get 3 places, i.e. if there's not more than 4 horses not declared / non-runners on the day, I will back Chigoro each way because I think he's a very nice horse. And I think he'll win plenty of races. And yeah, that would be it for me. So Chigoro with a small each way play. Maybe I'll back Firefox on the day, but I probably will stay quite quiet. Dec, you're sticking with Tubber, is it?
It's on Tubber for me, yeah. Oh. And you said you won't have a bet. You'll definitely be having a bet with all that money in your pocket.
Yeah, I might be going crazy. We'll see. Back into the 235. This is the Matt Britton Irish EBF maiden hurdle, over 2 miles, and it is bit of a maze, but the horse that I did just speak about, Dec, Chigoro, a horse that he beat that day, lost to him in France but beat him over hurdle. Jasco de Dam is in here for Henry de Bromhead, and likely to have his second run here, and I'd imagine he's going to take quite a bit of beating. He does look like a nice horse. Plenty of entries though to kind of go through here. Obviously Tully Hill, bitterly disappointing on his hurdles debut for Willie Mullins, beaten at 1-8 or something. Something absolutely mind-boggling. Where are you
giving a bit of stick to?
Yeah, and he resumed getting that stick after he's beaten on his next start. Giving stick, what did he cost? 300 grand or something? Come on. Anyway, Doubt Connections would care because they're having Rob Court having a phenomenal season. Obviously, you've just tipped on Tubber. So just the 34 runners here prior to declarations, Dec. So best of luck with this one, trying to find us a runner. But I'm going to keep it short and simple. I'm going to stick, if I like the horse for the Grade 1, Jasco de Dam, who finished third, ran a nice enough race. He'll do me here. What about you?
I'm just thinking the Tully Hill run around that time when Ballyburn
and Galopin des Champs were
he wasn't a buzzy horse like them, was he, in his bumper?
I don't think so. No. Just ran bad. He didn't hurdle fluently either though. Like he was
so bad.
Yeah.
It was over 2 miles 6 as well.
Yeah, and that's another alarm.
Yeah.
So
although
I don't know.
It's that nice maiden that we spoke about, but
he jumped very left and took hurdles home with him. So going to Nace should help him. But like you're taking a lot on trust, surely. Like it was such a bad run.
Yeah. No, I'd be taking him on. The one I like is Liz Nagar Fortune. A short head second to Reading Tommy Wrong, who has an entry in the Lawlors. That was at Cork. And Staffordshire Knott, who was 2 lengths back in third, won a bumper at Fairyhouse on New Year's Day. So it looks strong form. He'd be the one for me.
Okay, very good. And that's a race we'll be able to unpack at a later stage as well. We're getting to the stage now where horses will be having their second or even their third runs in handicaps, and that's where you kind of really start getting excited for the spring. Always a great time of year. I love Maiden Hurdles around this time of year. 310 then, the Adair Manor Opportunity Handicap Hurdle, another great series that we always talk plenty about. Look who's topping the weights here, Dec. I don't get it. A foiled gamble at Down Royal at Christmas time, unfortunately. But he's back over hurdles potentially here. And we've got just the 29 to kind of choose from here before declarations. Was there any that stood out to you here, Dec?
Yeah, there's a few. And look, I'll put up a few and how some of them run. And I leave it to viewers if they want to back one of them. But look, we do only have 4 in the ballot, but they still might not run. We're so far out, we don't know what the ground's going to be like. But I got through them anyway. Ballycallan King, his last 2 maiden hurdle runs, the form looks strong. He's behind Champagne Admiral, who has obviously won that maiden and won a handicap at Leopardstown. And he was behind Answer the Cave also, who ran well at Limerick and also ran well at Fairyhouse, a horse we've talked a good bit about. Ballycallan King made his handicap debut in the race won by Attaboy Charlie at Leopardstown. He was well beaten that, but look,
that was a competitive race though.
It was competitive and it was fast. And we thought it was all happening a bit too fast for Attaboy Charlie at one stage. So it could have just happened too quick for this fella, and he's going to come on for that run. See a much improved horse with handicap experience. Pride of Place, it was his handicap debut the last day. Went with them, which we don't always like to see on their handicap debut, but he is in the green and gold, and you always have to worry about them, don't you, when you fancy one? And there's one of them there, especially coming in second run on a handicap. Porrick's Boy fell at Cork the last day when was upsides the Galway Gallivanter. I do think the Galway Gallivanter was going to win, though. That was the second handicap, having been brought down on debut. In his first handicap, he actually gone up £2 for that run when he fell at Cork, but I think he'll have a chance. Junot Mick Winters, he's a horse we spoke about at Nace the last day. He was keeping on. It was an amateur riders race. It was the first division, I think, of the John Thomas McNamara series, where our amateurs claim it 7. He's left on the same mark. Look, no disrespect, but if there's a problem this time, I'd expect to see a much better horse. And then Silent Flight, he's 2 in the ballot, so if they all stand on the ground, he's not going to get a run. But the other thing about this, he's off since November 22 when he was an eye catcher on handicap debut. So you could probably just say the next day for this one goes into the top tracker. Might just need to run here, but he definitely won for the next day. If I was to pick one out of them all, it's tough. You just don't know what that McManus won Pride of Place, and I'd probably have it between Ballycallan King and Porrick's Boy.
Ballycallan King, Porrick's Boy. I'll throw one in the works. It's a horse that I think is just coming down the handicap. I'm not sure if he's coming down the handicap quick enough. I didn't find too many horses in here that would be, for handicap, you usually find some very, very, ones with obvious progressive profiles. There is a few in here, but there's none that I'd be completely losing sleep over. And Elusive Guy, who's up near the top for Jarlath Fahy. He's after coming down in class here. And ran okay at Navan in a better race. Just kind of weakened after the second last. But is entitled to maybe come on for that run. So he has already obviously had 3 runs this season, but you know, he should be kind of coming well into his peak now. Did have the ability to win a maiden hurdle at Limerick in November 2022, and has kind of been paying for it ever since. He has been highly enough tried, but he's, you know, I think he's kind of coming back down now to his level. And off 105 on the basis of what he has shown over hurdles in better company, he might get a better opportunity to show it in this type of in one of these opportunity hurdles. Like, he's still young enough that he could, you know, he might just need a little bit of a confidence booster, and this is a good opportunity of getting a confidence booster, and maybe it's going to be a big price. So I think he's one that you could chance at an each way price. Wouldn't be going absolutely mad in it, but he is coming down to a mark now where he should be able to get a little bit more competitive after paying the price for winning a maiden hurdle last year. So it would be a elusive guy for me. And then Dec, you had your duo there as well.
Yeah, well, look, I you know what? We've no declaration, so look, I like them all. Ballycallan King, Pride of Place, Porix Boy, and June Not. I will say Soil and Flight is one for the next day. Put them in the top tracker in case we miss them. But if I was to narrow it down now with the 4, then it's Ballycallan King and Porix Boy. Look, like progressive and ready. You know what I mean? Where, you know, June Not, I'm hoping he improves for a bit of pro handling, but might not be ready, might be the next day again. And Pride of Place, you just don't know if it's McManus thing, you know.
You're waiting. Yeah, that's it. I know what you mean.
He wouldn't be one that would, like, he was handy the last day, you know. It wouldn't be one that would be jumping off the page at me. It's the fact he's owned by who he's owned by.
Yeah, no, I get you.
You know, that he's entered calculations.
Absolutely. And then we finish with the bumper, the first 4-year-old bumper of the season, as you said at the top of the show, Dec. The 50 Stars, what about those first foals? 50 Stars, who was a son of Cedar Stars, who did his race in Australia, but is now standing at stud in Ireland to cover national hunt mares. What about his first foals? Well, I haven't seen any of them yet, so I wouldn't be able to comment on that one. Sorry about that, guys. But they have been kind enough to sponsor this bumper, full of 4-year-olds, and there's a few interesting sires in here. Seeing the first foals here of Jack Hobbs, who you might remember ran in a derby in an Irish derby. He won an Irish derby. He won an Irish derby, yeah, for John Gosden. A lot of good reports about his foals, and it's unsurprising. I think a few of them have already been are down to running point to points and been hearing good things. So he has a bumper runner here in Pavilion End, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. And then Berkshire, my God, I didn't know he was at stud. Berkshire, who won you might remember him winning the Royal Lodge. I think he might have won a Chesham Stakes as well at a big price. He's by Mount Nelson, who Owen McCarthy on our previous podcast was saying is a sire that he likes. So I wonder if he's been targeting any Berkshires at the sales. Anyway, Dec, complete another guesswork here. They're all unraced. So any that caught your eye, or any type of trainer combos or anything like that might have caught your eye here?
I would back a Liz Doyle horse in this race, but she's none in it.
Porrig Roach has one there. I'm flattered. I think did he have a winner this race a year or two ago? Someone else, Paul Nolan.
Last year, Paul Nolan maybe cut the rope. Was it winner last year?
Cut the rope, yeah.
I do like. I would always have a look at a Liz Doyle runner in this. This race is often won by, or has been won by, flatbreds or you know, horses by sprinters. It's just, you know, this is more your thing than me, Andy.
Yeah, I'm flattered too, as I said there. Porrig Roach, she's by Churchill out of a Fastnet Rock mare again. Not the idea when he was bred, or she was bred, but here she is rocking up in a bumper. I don't know. It's very difficult.
Richard O'Brien's won this with a horse that was by a sprinter, I think.
He has, the Dragon Pulse horse that was then bought by Willie Mullins. Simon Muneer and Isaac Swade, I think, have it now. I think he's got injured though.
He has Frogman in this.
Yeah, I see that Old Man River, who was Aidan O'Brien trained him.
Out of Finsdale.
Favorite for
the Derby at one stage.
He was. I think he won at Beresford Stakes. Aidan O'Brien trained it. He was out of Finscale Bio, the dual Guineas winner. She nearly won all three of them. Absolute. I think Jim Balder.
3 weeks.
Unbelievable filly she was. Very interesting. A couple of, as I said, a Jack Hobbs in there. Obviously, a Paddy's Wings down the bottom as well for David Kelly. One of the first runners for Epsom Derby winner Wings of Eagles in here as well. So plenty to look out for.
Tom Cooper has one in those Butcher's Hollow colours, and they're obviously spending a lot of money.
German bred horse by Chingy's Secret. Don't know a whole lot about him now, but they've done plenty of buying, and their good chance is that's a nice horse. Obviously one to keep an eye on. Usually with this 4-year-old race, there is another 4-year-old bumper back at Nace in a couple of weeks' time, and usually horses that run this race, obviously that experience be key for a couple of weeks' time. So do just keep them in mind as well.
Did you see number 2? That's what we be telling people after we go on the piss when Verdun Place wins.
Number 2, call back Tuesday. Very good. Very good. Right, that brings us to the end of the Nace preview. And again, many thanks to Nace for giving us a couple of tickets to give away, and well done to our lucky winners there again. Just before we go, Dec, we'll just have a quick rerun of what we saw at Christmas time, be it at Limerick, even Hewick at Kempton, deadly that was. Unbelievable. And then, obviously Gaelic Warrior at Limerick too, Leopardstown. I know you wanted to talk a little bit about Captain Guinness and what you saw from him, and what you'd be backing him for when he gets all better. Obviously, you had an excuse there, but you're out looking for massive prizes now for the championship.
Yeah, well, I think what I see in Captain Guinness is often seeing through rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah.
No, look, he was never going to go on the ground. Once that rain came, I think it was curtains. But you say he was clinically abnormal.
He was.
After the race. He had a heart issue, which he's had before. So look, you just put a line through it and start backing him again, because I genuinely think he's the fastest horse in the race on good ground. I'm talking about the Champion Chase, and I think if it's not an end-to-end gallop, and it's not always an end-to-end gallop like the Arkle is. The Arkle suits theirs, the way it can be run, but the fastest horse can win the Queen Mother. So look, it barely gets to 2 miles. It's 1 mile 7.5. Just totally forgive that run at Leopardstown. Don't let that put off your thought, because he's never gone on that ground. And it was so bad that day. Like when the rain came, it was hard to have a bet that day. Really, the ground got so bad. So I'd be just putting a line through it and start backing him again for March.
That's the plan. Going back to the 26th at Leopardstown, Dec, horse I wanted to touch on. The very first race today was at 12 o'clock, was a Maiden Hurdle, won by No Flies on Him, Eddie Harty, training for JP McManus. This is a proper horse, I think. This is one of the maidens now that I was really, really excited about this one. Hurdled like a cat. I'd never seen a horse on his hurdling debut hurdled so well. He over-raced a little bit on the front end. Was a little bit fuzzy. But he's beaten nice horses, beating DB Cooper and Ascending. And Ascending is I think ran absolutely to his mark of 133, given all that experience. No Flies in him, was a little bit keen. Obviously was not race fit as DB Cooper and Ascending were, and he was able to hold them off. I think that's a proper horse. And I'd be very excited. I think they're coming back to the Dublin Racing Festival. They're going to go straight into the Grade 1 with him over 2 miles. So they obviously think the world of him. The horse that won the Tallworth at the expense of Farron Glory, trained by Nicky Henderson. I just can't quite remember the name of it. No Flies on Him beat him in a point-to-point anyway, is what I'm trying to say. So, horse that I think you really need to stay very close to. And there's every chance he could take the step up to Grade 1 Company in a stride. And it was great to see Eddie Harty with another good horse in his hands after all these years. Moving across, we had Calaconte winning the Grade 2 Juvenile Hurdle. Good chance, Nurbo.
I actually thought Nürburgring ran. People kind of slagged them off, but he was carrying the penalty.
He probably reverses that form.
Oh, definitely, and like I think Porter Road has been very, very good. But I wouldn't be putting you off Nürburgring at all. I thought that was a big, big run for the juvenile.
Yeah.
Giving away weight, and people are not appreciating that. Like,
Yeah, it gets the weight gets good on speed. That's 100% a term. Good chance. Speaking of the Dublin Racing Festival, Nürburgring goes to the Spring Juvenile. There's a chance Bird at Road comes over. He is going to get an entry. So it'll be fantastic to see him. We really, really good. I can't remember the last time we had an Irish horse an English horse in the Spring Juvenile. It's definitely been a while.
I'd say John Ferguson was the last.
John Ferguson did it, yeah. Because he had all the Godolphin ones, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he ran two in 1 year.
He did. I'd be great to see him now if he did. Yeah, the year I think it was the year
the Akali one or O'Connor, was it?
It could have been actually the year that I think didn't Beneficent win it, or did he win the Delight?
No, he won the Delight. I think it was the year that O'Connor won.
All right, okay, that was yeah, you could have been right actually. Yeah, then moving on to the handicap hurdle, obviously our big result added by Charlie, who I just still can't believe the route he took to win that race. Yeah. Ed Cowley going to send him to Thurles with a view to trying to run the Liffey handicap at the Dublin Racing Festival, apparently. So keep an eye on him. He's probably still got pounds up his sleeve, given the manner he won that race. And horses that even finished down the pan that day for how competitive that race is for the grade, it's probably going to be a race you can follow. The Racing Post Novice Chase Deck, I just wanted to touch base with you on that one if you had an opinion on that. So Found a 50 was the winner. Obviously this race was marked by the big blowout by Facile Vega, who just...
We did say a lot of Willies have underperformed in this race. Now we also said we couldn't see him being beaten, but we did mention that it was the race where a lot of his have blown out. And is Leopardstown the problem for Facile Vega? I don't know. Did he get hurt there? Last year?
Yeah.
He just didn't want to extend himself this year, and
he was pestered from an early stage by Found a 50, who jumped right throughout, but Facile Vega did leave his legs in one or two of them as well. He didn't cover himself in glory at many fences. The big part of this race I just wanted to bring up, my mate Mozzie was held up out of his ground a little bit with a view to coming home, and I wonder if he was a little bit closer to the coattails. Did Connections leave a grade one behind there? Because he was closing all the way to the line. Oh, I don't know. Like, you can make an argument my mate Mozzie was the best horse in that race on the day.
Where will he turn up?
That's it. I don't know. Like, he's after finishing second there. You have to go for the Irish Arkle with him now. Like, this division is blown wide open. I know there's obviously...
annual with him?
You probably will, or you hold him for Aintree, but he's already won around Cheltenham, so I don't see why you do. You obviously you just run him. You run him in the Arkle. You aim him at the Arkle, I'd say. I don't know. He wouldn't say. I don't know if I'd like the idea of running him in a big field handicap chase. But then again, he ran brilliantly in a Galway hurdle not so long ago, so you never know. Plenty of experience, a little bit quirky, but yeah, definitely a nice horse. Just before we move out of that race deck, one word answer or 2 word answer, whatever. Facile Vega, Irish Arkle or the 2 mile 5?
Irish Arkle.
Okay.
Not saying that's where I'd run on that. That's where he'd run.
Okay.
Does he definitely go to Leopardstown?
I don't know where else he goes, unless they want to bring him back quickly for the Killiney at Punchestown. But I'd say he goes there. You might get bad ground in the Killiney as well. Like, he seems to be at his best when the ground is soft as well. Which it wasn't really on Stevens's day or Boxing Day. So, there's also that. Maybe quick ground at Leopardstown is just not what the horse wants. Moving on then, Dec. We'll keep going really quickly. If there's anything at Limerick or Down Royal that you want to bring up, just stop me and bring it up. I will concentrate on Leopardstown pretty much because that's where most of the action was, with the exception, obviously, of Gaelic Warrior, which we'll get to in a sec. Interlotto was a 10-1 winner of the Maiden Hurdle. Thought he did a nice job. Dec, I'll let you take it away though on Marine National because you were blown away by this, weren't you? 2-1 on winner.
Like, it's not, you're usually looking to pick holes, but he just went and done his own thing and he jumped really, really well. And I was really, really taken by him. Yeah, I was. I think I texted you a good bit.
Yeah, you
Saying,
were big
oh
on
my
it.
God, like I was really, really taken by it, and it's not often a novice will do that to me. Like I try not get too excited about them, but boy,
Yeah.
Jesus, like he just went from fence to fence. His jumping was so good, and the pace he went at, like on that ground, to jump like that on that ground and go the gallop he did, like, oh, it's just what a racehorse. Like, and he's not one I really spoke about last year, but I thought he won the Supreme really, really well. Like, I thought he got brilliant ride in the Supreme. A really, really cool ride from, such an inexperienced jockey on the biggest stage of all, and in the race that jockeys probably feel the most nerves in. But my God, the horses, I'm really taken by him now. He could be anything.
Yeah, no, he absolutely could be. He was phenomenal. I actually laid him when I saw the first time tongue tie, some wind surgery and soft ground, and I knew after 2 fences I'd done my money. So, no, he was absolutely brilliant. No one could live with him in that field. It was unfortunate the one time home my lord was asked, probably the one time in his life he was asked for a big jump. He fell at the second last. Hopefully he's okay and we get to see him quite soon.
The scary thing about him is the trainer's adamant he's better on good ground, and we haven't seen loads of him, but we've seen him win the Royal Bond on heavy ground, and we've seen him win at Leopardstown now on like, I don't think I've ever seen the ground that bad at Leopardstown.
I was testing. Yeah, it was like they withdrew at Navan, and it was probably nearly as bad by the time Marine National was going around.
Yeah, oh jeez, what? I know it's only beginner's chase, but my God.
Yeah, it was shades of almost Galopin des Champs when he made his chasing debut.
Yeah, it was actually,
yeah. Onto the future champions, Novice Hurdle. Like, I found this race very hard to assess, just given how bad the ground was, especially on the hurdles track. By the time we got to this race, it was basically only 2 horses really showed up here. Caldwell Potter, who won the race, and Predator's Gold. The rest were essentially nowhere. Down memory lane back in third. Flatbread Daddy Longlegs. You could tell from an early stage he was absolutely hating that ground, and hopefully he's able to come back, and a bit of better ground we should see a far better horse. I wouldn't lose much. I wouldn't throw many stones at horses that underperformed on this ground, especially on the 27th, especially if you're a novice hurdler. So I would, I'd completely forgive him that. But Dec, do you have any thoughts on Caldwell Potter or Predator's Gold or anything like that? Do you think this form would be will this hold up as the season goes on, or these horses?
I don't think so. Putting a line through that race.
Yeah, no, it's fair enough. Like, it was tough. Paddy Power Chase, Maiden in the Waters, another winner for the podcast, which was nice. James de Burley did a good job in the front, just faded late for 4th, but a horse that turned into the straight, and another one that I tipped, actually, adamantly chosen. He finished 10th, but if you go back and watch the race, like, he had every chance coming around the home turn. I just think that the really testing ground, the 3 miles, has got the better of him. At the Dublin Racing Festival, he was 2nd last year to Mighty Potter at 40-1 in the Novice Grade 1. If he comes back for the 2 mile 5 handicap chase over the same course and distance, he's going to take all the beating in that. So get him in the notebook for the handicap chase at the Dublin Racing Festival over 2 miles 5. Anything from the Paddy Power Chase from you, Dec, or are you good?
No, like, the ground that day was just...
Yeah, no, it's fair enough.
Yeah.
It was grim. Second best maiden hurdle performance for me for the week, Jade de Grugy, who we did mention on the previous episode of Top that Butcher Hollow was probably getting an unfair rap for his 2 seconds. One to the horse that we tipped for the Jigoro, the horse that I quite like for the Lawlors if he does run, and then he's bumped into this filly who looked pretty special, to be honest. The way she put that field away, she looked really, really good. The fact that she took on the geldings over 2.5 might cloud people's judgment, but make no mistake, if she comes back and trip for the Dawn run at the Cheltenham Festival, she will take a lot of beating. And as of right now, she doesn't have a penalty, and that's where I think she'll go, and she'd be very high on my list for something like the Mayor's Novices Hurdle there. So I thought she was brilliant. If did you see that race, Dec, or did you?
I didn't. No.
I'd take a look at it if I were you. It was really, really impressive. Factor Foil obviously was good as well, making his second start over fences, one doing handstands. Dec, a horse that you were eventually right about, I suppose. I was not too confident in Irish Point staying this trip. He stayed it easily and he won as he liked, waving to the crowd. What was your thoughts on him?
I thought it was very, very good, and people are still trying to knock it and say he doesn't stay. Like the ground was very testing the day before. It was still testing that day, and it was so easy for him. He stays. He's young. He's really, really good, and I think we touched on the form before the Royal Bond, is French form, but we didn't know what we were looking at. And he beat
LA Francais,
yeah. I think Steve pulled that up for us the other day. So I do remember talking about him that night, and we mentioned his form in France, but we didn't know what we were talking about. So look, I think he's really, really nice. I'm a big fan of his, and I thought it was easy for him.
Yeah. On to the main event. One of the best performances I've actually really ever seen from a thoroughbred in person. Galopin Des Champs was just absolutely joy to behold. You could tell from down the back straight he was going to win. I loved it. Went down to the parade ring to see him. He was on his toes. It was complete contrary to what you had said at Punchestown. That's why I decided to back him.
He come up and said it to me straight away.
Yeah, he's back. And that's the thing you can say when you go racing and you get these little observations. It can pay well. Beating Jerry Cologne by 23 lengths. Capodanno running a huge race, coming from Stillorgan Village to be third. And that you can nearly argue that was a career best from him, but he's no Gold Cup entry. Only the top two from this field, I believe, out of the 8 that ran are actually entered in the Gold Cup. Is there any world, Dec, where Jerry Cologne turns this form around? I know you said you wanted to maybe forgive him this run, but what's your thoughts?
Forgive
Jerry Cologne, or is it something else?
I've never thought he was good enough. I don't think he's quick enough.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Both
of us never thought he's quick enough.
No, I don't think he's quick enough for a Gold Cup.
And that was exposed at the highest level. That was pretty thoroughly exposed. Even if you want to take Galopin Des Champs out, I know the race might have been run a little bit differently, but let's say it wasn't, and we're sitting here without Galopin Des Champs. He's beaten Capodanno by a diminishing neck.
Yeah.
Where would that sit now in terms of the Gold Cup?
Yeah, like you'd be saying he fell in, and I've never thought he was quick enough for the Gold Cup. Certainly, definitely not for a King George. But they go in the Gold Cup is serious, So never. I thought he was flat to the boards in the RSA last year. He's just a horse I've never really warmed to. And you probably get colder on them with the more hype that's around them. So which is probably a little bit unfair, but no.
I wonder what.
Go on.
Wonder what the handicapper will do, if anything, to Capodanno, because he's clearly this is going to be he obviously had an interrupted season last year. Yeah. He's been trained with the Aintree National in mind, you would have thought. I hope the handicapper doesn't clout him for this now, because
again, whether he takes the view that Jerry Cologne
has run to form,
underperformed, or Galopin Des Champs has put on a show.
Yeah, that's it.
Galopin Des Champs put on a show.
Yeah, I think so. Struggled to pull him up as well. Just everything.
But then Jerry Cologne was probably not what everyone thought either. So they could have both ran well. But could have both ran to form with Capodanno. Do you know what I mean? It does depend what view he's going to. It's what he thinks of Jerry Cologne.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It very much depends. Jerry Cologne is probably a high 160s, maybe mid to high 160s horse. Galopin Des Champs a 180, possibly 180 plus horse, and that's just the way it transpired in the race, I think. No,
Jerry
absolutely.
Clone's probably just only as good as Capodanno ever was.
Probably a fair point too.
But people have thought he was better than that. So it depends what way the handicapper's gone, what he thinks Jerry Cologne was or is.
Just before we wrap up, then, Dec, Gaelic Warrior, Limerick, impressed by him?
Yeah, very impressive. Loud of nonsense after the race. Absolutely ridiculous. Don't get it. I don't have much more to say on it.
Yeah, no, if you hear all night otherwise. That's one for a couple of glasses of wine, that discussion.
Yeah. No, it was on the other show.
Yeah, hold on a minute. No, I thought that was total nonsense as well. But anyway, I thought the run from I Know the Way You're Thinking was lovely in third. They kind of got away from him after the kind of second last, but I think he's a future Gold Cup horse personally. I think he just jumps and stays, and people have to remember how raw he is. He had no bumper experience, very little hurdles experience, still winning races. He's still a maiden over fences, but he's running 3 very good races now. He's lost very, very little in defeat, and I think you won't see it this year, but next year you're going to see a very, very good horse, and he could be a horse that takes a very high ranking. He's the type of horse that will just get better and better in open company, whether with the, usually some horses plateau after they come out of novice company, given how heavily they race. But the way this horse is getting campaigned, I think you're going to see a really, really good horse next year, and I'm really looking forward to next year with him. Just before we go, Dec, the 29th, probably not too much to mention. This was a bit of I wouldn't say, maybe unfair to say, an underwhelming day. We already mentioned Ballyburn. Great to see Jatara in career best form. We were probably just a year too early to that party. Well, you were. I know you liked her all of last year, Dec.
But I've gone off her now.
Yeah, and now she's winning doing handstands. Yeah, that's why another year on a young horse's back. You can just, like, Jatara is a perfect example how important it can be, and they can progress. Grange Clare West, what do you think of him? He was, very easy winner to Novice Hurdle.
Very, very good. Yeah, very impressive.
Yeah,
I didn't see a lot of racing that day.
I think you were tired. Tired. Grange Clare West put a lot of good horses to the sword. Kind of wondering, Corbett's Cross was kind of hung out the back, very, very slow at his fences. Almost didn't seem a natural. He just needs to be ridden with a bit more prominence. Flooring Porter ran his race, was beaten 16 lengths, no excuses there. Flanking maneuver again. He made a few mistakes, but plugged on well. Favori de Chandu, bitterly disappointing though. Well beaten. I don't know, the winner was good, but I'm not sure if it was his brilliance that gashed the race open, or if it was just a race that maybe we're dealing with horses that might have just fallen apart a little bit. I think there's serious value to be had in the staying novice division. You could get a serious result.
Yeah, I haven't been really overly impressed by them. But if you go to the 31st, Monty Star's one that I think he's the right one now.
Yeah, I was just about to mention him. I was actually half considering backing him for the 3 mile novice chase, and given the way he
I was very impressed now. That was he would be the best of them in my opinion.
Yeah, would you fancy him if you were? I'll see what price is just before we go, Dec. You'd be looking at him for a race like the RSA, would you? If you were going to back
the race for him, I think. Well, where else would you run him? It's the only race he could run in at Cheltenham.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You're not going to run a horse that good in the 4 miler, and he's a proper 3 miles there. He's not going down the Turner's Road.
If you're offered the best price right now, Dec, I'm saying what he is generally, because I usually like to give. No, he's a general 20-1 chance with most bookies. Would 20-1? Would you be confident enough to tip him for the RSA? Because I actually, he's the horse that I thought, given he's so inexperienced over hurdles and he's progressing over fences, he is one of these horses that can just come on. You might not see the best of him until next year.
Yeah,
kind of like as we spoke with, I know the way you're thinking. Especially Gold Cup horses that don't win novice grade ones. But would 20-1 interest you for a race like at Cheltenham, the novices, 3 mile novices?
Yeah, absolutely. but I don't know. Like, he's definitely the one that's gonna from Ireland that's gonna trouble the Brits the most. I think. What have we got? Stay away, Faye.
Yeah, he got a Gold Cup entry, but yeah, he's going to go to
Yeah.
Cotswold Chase next. They could get Billy Big Balls there, which would help you, but you never know.
Yeah, I think he's going to be tough to beat. Stay away, Faye. To be honest.
Okay, fair enough.
But look, I do really like Monty Star. Like we spoke a good bit about him the day we covered that beginner's chase. That
Yeah.
We might have been 14, but like he's improved past 3-card brag, and I think he's really, really nice. He's a future Gold Cup horse.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. It looks a little bit like Manala Indo as well, with the cross noseband, the big brown. I think he's very, and same colours. Obviously, he is very strikingly similar to Manala Indo. Last but no means least, Dec, I know we're slightly over an hour here, so apologies. But State Man, we can't leave without talking about State Man. How brilliant he was. I know how much you like him as well.
Yeah, like he's so good, and I just can't. I'm really looking forward to the Champion Hurdle. Now, Constitution Hill was phenomenal as well, but like he wasn't beating anything. State Man had a test put up to him, but he laughed at in Pyrenees Pass. Like,
yeah, messed with him. Yeah,
he's like State Man's like the ultimate professional. He makes it look so easy. He's an absolute joy to watch, and like I've said this a few times, he wasn't. It popped the question in the Champion Hurdle. It was just so strange, and I just can't wait to see what's going to happen. Now, we may never get within a couple of lengths of Constitution Hill, but I'm just so intrigued by it all. I think he's really, really good, real professional. There's so much to like about him. He's an absolute joy to watch.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
The way he just quickened the way again, like he's so good. He's top class. Like,
no, he's absolutely awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed watching him. Strut stuff. So, without further ado, then, Dec, I think we should bring this to an end.
I just mentioned, like, obviously, we two winners for the two big winners for the podcast, both trained by Ed Cawley. So, I think Ed Cawley deserves what we call it, the
Trainer of the Year award.
No, we go Trainer of the Year with the top trainer of the Christmas, the festive
trainer of the festive period. Yeah, Ed Cawley. Yeah.
But I will
you
just
should try and get him on.
I think he has. I think you can back his horses blind for a couple of weeks, because I think he has them ready to rock. There's a couple of them coming out, Maidens, and they've had the handicap run, and as we've seen on Stephen's Day with Joe Show, they don't need the run in a handicap, but obviously always waiting on Musco now to run as well. I think you could back his horses blind for a couple of weeks, because they're just, not that he's hitting form, they're just ready.
They're well treated. Yeah. No, 100% agree. Fair play to you with that, because that he was well backed as well on New Year's Day.
He was 20-1 the night before.
Yeah, they smashed him up.
I was at the parade ring, and I said to Keane, I'm going to go and back this fella, and I went out to it, he was 2-1. I said, oh, good luck.
He may as well have been 1-4 the way he won. You could tell down the back straight that one was over. And poor old Dancing Jeremy, he became a podcast favourite of mine. Yeah. He's too honest for his own good. He completely bumped into one there, and he's probably going to get nudged up another few pounds now. God love him. But fair play to him anyway. Great, another great run. But that's going to bring us to an end, Dec. We have our nap of the top, which I will just remind viewers is going to be the 1:30, the race and stay handicap chase at Nace, and it's a verdant place for Patrick Hardy. JP McManus chucked in is the easiest thing we can say. Absolutely dumped in, and all being well, he'll win. So hopefully we'll be back for top 21 early next week, celebrating a couple winnings, and we're top 21. I'm trying to think what that may be.
We've Clonmel Thursday.
Clonmel, okay.
So we might rock up on Tuesday night, and then well done to our competition winners.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they were Cormac's Fridge with the single ticket, Gillian Rowley, and Finton Donnelly.
Gillen, surely.
Gillen. Yeah. Anyway, and Finton Donnelly. So well done, lads, on winning your tickets. And until top 21, guys, take it easy and happy punting. Bye bye.
Cheers. Good luck. Bye bye.
Bye bye.